Hi, everyone. It is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. Welcome to IF Whale, Inspirations for Your Life. If you're new, you'll notice a QR code just popped up in the right-hand corner of your screen. Take your phone, point to it with your phone app, camera app there, and it will actually take you off to one of my sites, my link tree. If you have any trouble getting there, just type in your browser, Believe, Believe, me, M-E, achieve, ACHIEVE.com. That'll get you to my link tree with lots of great information that I can't go into right now. There's just so much you definitely want to explore. But definitely check out John's Daily National Day video and the JCM Academy TikTok. Great stuff to do and learn and get some great stuff. So, I do a national day every day. Haven't done the recording yet, but I'm going to be doing it in a little bit. And if you're wondering, what day is today? August 21st. Well, there's a couple things that it is, but one of the biggest things that I think a lot of people are saying, that this is the day for, it is National Don't Overcode Your Patience Day. That sounds weird, doesn't it? Overcode your patience. Well, basically, it's because of fraud. All right. And so they're trying to make people aware that this is a day that this happens a lot, and they don't want people to fraud. A lot of the doctors' offices do this, sometimes not intentionally, but sometimes they do it intentionally. So make sure you are wary about that and you understand. And so every Saturday we start off with a brand new master topic. We continue through the whole week, and we finish on Friday. If you are coming here back as a wonderful guest again, watching my show, well, I want to thank you very much in the bottom of my heart for your loyalty, for your support, and coming back. And hopefully you'll motivate some of the new people to keep watching me and getting some great knowledge soaked up into them. All right, what is that master topic, ladies and gentlemen? I know you're on the edge of your chair waiting for it. All right, how to remember. So we talked about something very important last night, the fact that when you remember, you don't remember things, you remember moments, right? So with that in mind, let's think about moments in your life. Maybe that was the moment that you had first Holy Communion. Maybe it was the moment that you had your first bar mitzvah. Maybe it was the moment that you went on your first date. Maybe it was the moment that you bought your first house, the moment you had your first boyfriend, girlfriend. Maybe it was the moment that you got your first A+ on a test. There are moments. But if I asked you for any one of these things, you probably would remember it. How about the moment you got your first car? You remember that. You probably could tell me what color it was. You could tell me everything about it, right? If I asked you to tell me what you had for dinner 7 weeks ago on a Tuesday night, you'd be like, huh? Because it wasn't memorable enough. I mean, you had the food, unless it was something that was so spontaneously good that caught a memory, right? Like if you went to a certain restaurant or something like that. Like we know when it was National Fajita Day, I went to Chili's and I had a fajita, just 2 fajitas, and I had that with shrimp and rice. So giving you some ideas. So moments. So let's dig a little more into how this happens. Our brain tries to understand what the heck is going on. Okay? What is going on in our life? We try to, best way to say this is we try to link it or categorize it in some way. All right. Let's talk about a memory, maybe not a good memory. Maybe you broke your leg, maybe something happened to you. And if I asked you about that, you probably can remember it very vividly because it created a state in your body. Now, it wasn't maybe a positive state, but it was a state. And so when we're able to link things to that, our brain is able to just go back to that filing system and bam, we can just recall it immediately. Our brain is very, very intelligent, and we all have a great memory. We're going to learn that this week before the week is over, that you all have an amazing memory. It's just that sometimes you blame your memory because you actually didn't learn how to use it right. What are you talking about? All right. So when I want you to remember something, and we're not going to get into this too deep tonight, you link it to something. So when you had a great positive dinner, like I did at the fajita day, and I did the video. I mean, obviously, I remember my server's name was Dan. I remember having I have a scoop of vanilla ice cream. Right? It was memorable. Okay. I remember uploading the video, and every single day, ladies and gentlemen, if you ask me, not so much the day, but if you asked me, what did I do for National Cake Day? Well, National Ice Cream Cake Day, I went to Dairy Queen in Wyckoff, and they made a cake that one of my companies designed, and then I brought it to the Franklin Lakes Police Department. So the number doesn't mean anything to me, but what actually happened did. So if you said to me, John, what was the day that you went up to the Rockland Bakery? Well, I may not remember the date, but I can tell you that it was Bagel Fest Day. And I know that when I got up there, I waited patiently with bated breath, and they had already finished the bagels before they opened. So I asked, and they said they'd be making the mini bagels pretty soon. So within 20, 40 minutes, they started making the mini bagels. And they came out, and I remember getting some of those. And then I remember talking to one of the vice presidents there and interviewing him. Now, memories are what creates interest. So when you want to do a story about something, you want to get people's opinions. Why? Because people's opinions and what they say is going to create a memory. We all know memory in computers, right? We're familiar with that. Well, we'll get more into that probably tomorrow. But memory is a place that information can either be put into temporarily or stored permanently. The challenge is we have a situation and we have to learn this stuff real quickly, but we don't bother to tell the brain how to encode it. Hey, just remember this. Well, what we really need to do is figure out how to encode things. And we'll talk more about that as the week progresses. Like, you want to study your non-Western culture, but you weren't remembering it because the stuff wasn't memorable. Now, does that mean it wasn't interesting? Yeah, maybe it wasn't interesting. So you had to find some way to relate to that and make it a story that you could remember so that when you got to the test and they said, well, who discovered America? Or what was the leader's name of the Lenape Indians? Because you have a story in your mind, it works. Now, when you think about your life and your day, and you might say, John, I have a lot of things to remember. Okay, do you know our phone numbers? And we'll talk about this more in the week. Our phone numbers are 10 digits. Basically, they're either 7 or 10 digits, so plus or minus 3. Our brain has no issues with 7 to 10 digits. Very easy to do that, right? There's a 2-digit area code, 3-digit prefix, and then a 4-digit ending, right? Not so much as an extension number. When we take information and we learn how to encode it, if information went into the computer and it wasn't stored properly, would the computer ever be able to pull it up? There's something called a FAT, a file allocation table. Now we call it something else. You guys might know what we call it now, but FAT was very big many years ago, and now we don't call it that anymore. You know what we call it now? What do you think we call it now? That's right. We call it NTFS. So new technology file system. And it's a process that Windows NT operating system uses for storing, optimizing, and finding files on hard disks efficiently. And it even can do compression. And the new versions now can even do encryption with things like, supporting for BitLocker and things like that. So I think what's important is that we get thrown so much information at us every day. And then you're like, oh my gosh, how do I recall it? If you were in Word and you just suddenly went in there and you just saved files under just random names like A, B, J, K, How the heck are you ever going to know other than going to the history list and seeing what you saved? How are you going to remember what you saved it as? You're not. There's no meaningful representation to what the file is stored under. Let's take a file cabinet, for example. If you have papers in a file cabinet, right? And let's pretend that for a moment there's no indexes, there's no markers, nothing. You take something, you put a bill in there. Now you take something, you put a quote in there. You take something, you put insurance data in there. Where is everything? I have no clue where it is, right? It's not organized. So our brain works really well when we learn how to utilize techniques to organize it, which we're going to learn more about this week. And I'm going to show you that you really do have a good brain. But why people don't believe they have a good brain, it's really simple. It's because they're in a situation and they panic and like, oh, my brain is useless. Or I can't remember. And they say some 4-letter words, right? It's because they didn't take the time to properly encode the information into their brain. Well, what is that? I don't have time for that. So we go to school, right? We don't go to school, ladies and gentlemen, to learn chemistry, to learn engineering. Yes, we do learn some of it, but we go to school to learn how to learn. Huh? That's right. We go to school to learn how to make our brain learn and how to use our body. Because unfortunately, there's no manual written yet. And so going to school, you graduate, you get a degree, right? You get more education, you get another degree. You go to graduate school, you get another degree. And then maybe you go to doctor school or law school and you get another degree. Now, the thing of this, when you become a doctor, you don't learn every possible situation you're going to come in contact with, but you understand enough about the neighborhood, how things works, how things don't work. And with that information and new information, you're able to operate, you're able to examine people, you're able to prescribe things because you understand the ecosystem of the body. We as individuals become very impatient when we can't remember something or when somebody else can't remember something. So you know what I tell them is, oh, just relax, no problem, no rush. The train left, but it'll come back and just don't worry about it. I'm sure we'll talk about something else. And so when you make it not a big deal, the brain just naturally remembers. When you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot that. I can't believe I forgot his name. So we're going to teach you something tomorrow. We're going to teach you tomorrow. We're going to talk about memory tomorrow. But we're also going to teach you how easy it is to remember people's names. How many times have you gone to a mixer or you gone to a business meeting? You're like, or you gone to a family reunion, like, what was her name again? Sally, Mary, Jessica. Oh, Gwen. Hi, Gwen. And someone else says the name, you wait for it. Thus, I know, ladies and gentlemen, that you have a great brain. It's just that in your infinite enthusiasm, you sometimes go outside without putting a coat on in the wintertime. What does that mean? It means you're ready to jump in, or you probably had this happen. Sometimes people go right into the swimming pool and they forgot to take their shirt off and they go right in. I had one friend of mine, I was in, I think it was my freshman year of high school. And, we went to the party. It was somebody's birthday party. And usually because, the pool was warm and everything, but sometimes getting there, it might've been a little cold. So a lot of the guys would wear jeans over their bathing suits, so they didn't have to go in and change and whatnot. So a lot of times they were so anxious about going to the pool that they totally forgot to take their jeans off. And now their jeans are like, oh, hey, Mark, you forget something? Yeah, forgot to take my jeans off. Now you're an extra 5 or 10 pounds heavier because of that. So rushing to do something because you think that's what's necessary is not what's going to make you successful. It's not going to make you remember. It's going to make you so furious that you can't remember something. And then the more emphasis you put on not remembering it, guess what happens? Dale Carnegie, and you remember Nightingale Conant said this very well. Nightingale Conant said, We become what we think about most often, right? Tomorrow, we're going to learn about the two types of memory that are in a computer. We're going to compare that to your memory. We're also going to give you a technique on how you can remember anybody's name. So if you think right now you're not good at remembering names, that's going to change tomorrow. And once I get you a little bit of positivity, you're going to believe that you are good at remembering names, and that's going to make you remember them even more. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know who I am by now. I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It has been an amazing privilege, pleasure, and honor to be with you again this evening, this Sunday night. And I hope you'll choose to love, like, and support my channel. Comment below. How's this going with remembering? Did you realize that memory was a structure and that you can't just do something, you have to have it in an order, right? What would happen if you went to a supermarket and things were not organized on shelves? Well, you'd never find anything and you'd spend days and you would never get anything, right? You'd be very frustrated. I would love you to not only comment, but tag your friends, colleagues, and associates. Share this out with everyone you know on social media. Then go to my YouTube channel, any of them, and below it, you'll see the link. And make the choice, ladies and gentlemen, to buy my team and I a savory slice of watermelon, a refreshing vanilla cone, or a nice thirst-quenching drink, which is perfect on these hot summer days. Either way, we'll be very grateful with those pennies and dollars that you invest in us. We'll put that into new hardware, new technology, new equipment, new software, new facilities, and even new staff to give you the most jaw-dropping motivational content. I know that's what you want for your life, and that's what I want you to have as well, to become a better version of yourself and help everyone else become better versions of themselves as well. I hope you have a great rest of your evening. I will be back tomorrow, and if you missed some of this or a little bit of this went over your head, hey, go back and watch it again. The mother of repetition is also a great word to remember, but we're going to talk more about how you're going to remember. And I bet this show tonight actually stayed in your brain. And there's a reason for that. And it's because I created different memory associations without you even knowing that. And it made it easy for your brain to organize this. All right. Have yourself a great rest of the night. I'll see you tomorrow. And remember, you do have a great memory. Take care, everyone. Have a good night.